Canada is set for vote. Few days from today, people will go to vote for their favorite candidates, favorite parties. All the political parties, leaders are trying to convince voters to get their confidence. Viewers, we have been hosting discussions on the upcoming federal election for the last few days. Experts, community leaders, candidates have joined our program to discuss crucial issues related to the election, especially issues that affect the lives of Bangladeshi community in Canada. Scarborough Southwest riding is a very important electoral district for the Bangladeshi Canadian in Toronto. A significant number of voters in this riding are Bangladeshi Canadian. Today, we have Liberal Party candidate from this Scarborough Southwest riding, Mr. Bill Blair, to discuss his and his party's program for the Canadian, especially for the Bangladeshi people in Canada. Mr. Bill Blair has been serving the people of this riding as their representative in Ottawa, serving Canadian as Public Safety Minister. He has served as the Chief of Police of Toronto. I would like to welcome Mr. Bill Blair to our today's discussion. Welcome, Mr. Bill. Thank you so much for your time for joining with us.
Thank you very much, Shaugat, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you this morning and through you to speak to the Bangladeshi community. And I want to agree with you. You know, Scarborough Southwest is one of the ridings in Canada that has a very substantial Bengali population, and it has been my honor to serve this community and to make many friends. And I have always been grateful for the support and the friendship that I enjoy with the Bangladeshi community, and it is truly an honor to serve them and to speak to them this morning through you.
Thank you. You are going to the doors of the people, asking them to vote in upcoming election. Would you tell us what you are telling them about yourself, how you are presenting yourself to the voters?
Well, thank you, Shaugat. And I'm very fortunate in Scarborough Southwest in that the people of this community, they know me. They know that I have served them for over 45 years. I served them first as a police officer and as their police chief for nearly a decade. And so I've spent most of my life keeping them safe and protecting them. But they also know, because they gave me an opportunity to serve them as their member of parliament for the past 6 years, they know that I've tried very hard to represent them and to serve them the way they deserve to be served. And for example, when I ran in 2015, Shaugat, one of the things I heard from many of my Bengali friends in Scarborough Southwest is they wanted help and services in a language that their language is, because language is so important to the community. They wanted people working for them that understood, the challenges of new immigrants and families in Scarborough Southwest. And it's why the first people I hired were Sagor and Nahid Sharif, because they are from the community. They speak the languages of the community. They practice the faith of the community, and through them, they helped us serve that community. I think they also know when I go to the door that the Liberal Party, a liberal government, the people of Scarborough Southwest, and particularly the Bengali community, they saw what the Conservative government under Mr. Harper, how it treated them with disrespect and disdain, how it made them second-class Canadian citizens, and how it often appealed to those who are intolerant and unwelcoming in this country. But a liberal government is a very different government. A liberal government, I think, truly reflects the values of the people of Scarborough Southwest. People have come from all over the world to live in Canada, and in particular in our community. And the Bengali community has made a home here, and they've made Scarborough Southwest a better, stronger community. Through their business endeavors, through their families, by bringing their culture and their language and their history to our community, they make Canada a better place. And a Liberal government recognizes the importance of diversity, and importance of supporting families and people. And so I am very fortunate when I go to the doors of the people of Scarborough Southwest, particularly in the Bengali community. They know me, they know the Liberal government, and they know that we share the values of our community. And so that's an advantage. They also have concerns, and as we all do, all Canadians do, about affordability for their families, about being able to afford a home, for example, about making sure that there is food on the table and that they are able to pay their rent. that they are concerned about the future for our country, and they also have many concerns. They want to be able to reunite with their families, so they want an immigration policy that is open and welcoming to reunification of families and to newcomers. They want a government that recognizes the struggles of new immigrants, to make sure that we support businesses and entrepreneurs, that we support families, and that we are there for them. And they also know that many newcomers to Canada, particularly in the Bangladeshi community, they struggle in the first few years. It's hard to have enough money to feed your children and to pay your rent and to make progress in your life in Canada. And that's why our government has worked so hard to make sure that through the Canada Child Benefit and even through the supports that we provided during the pandemic, we've tried very hard to be there for all Canadians. And particularly, I know that literally thousands of Bengali families in our community have benefited from the support that they receive from a Liberal government. And we also talk about the future, Shaugat. We talk about, where Canada will go next. And will Canada remain a welcoming, inclusive country? Or will we give in to those who are intolerant? Will we continue to support families? And will we be there for Canadians as we emerge from this pandemic?
And when you tell about like the Bangladeshi community to feel them more welcoming and more homely, from my personal experience, I want to share with you, Mr. Bill, I'm thankful to your office especially. I have visited your office several times, not for myself, but for with issues related to community people. And I found everybody in your office, they were so cordial, so homely, and so helping. And whenever I just stepped into your office, and whoever is there, even they don't know me, but they were like the welcoming me, they were talking to me as like I'm just coming back to my own home. So you are right, like the when there is Bangladeshi people in your office or other community people in your office, I myself personally experienced a very, very warm and good experience in your office.
And Shaugat, I very sincerely hope everyone has. When Justin Trudeau asked me when I was the police chief, he came and asked me if I would run for the Liberals in Scarborough Southwest. And he told me my number one job was to serve the people of Scarborough Southwest, to make sure that we were there for them, that we supported them. And I am very proud of the work that my constituency office staff have done. They are truly servants of the community. And they work so hard to make sure that we provide help to everyone who needs help from us.
And if I ask you, you have been serving as an MP, as a federal cabinet minister, you served the Canadian as police chief of Toronto. Out of all these credentials, what position did you or do you enjoy most, and why?
I have been very blessed as a person that has been given the opportunity to serve in many ways. I served, as you know, as a police officer and as a police chief. I've been given the opportunity to serve the people of Scarborough Southwest as their member of parliament, and I've also been given the opportunity to serve Canada as the Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness, which makes me responsible for things like the RCMP, our border service officers, our national security intelligence agencies, even I oversee all the prisons in the country. Being responsible for the safety of first of all, the people of Toronto, the well-being and quality of life for the people of Scarborough Southwest, all of those roles have been very important to me. And I've dedicated my life to the service of others, and I've been given very many opportunities. I cherish each of them, and they're all very important to me. And I think they're equally important in every job that I have been given the opportunity to do in the different ways I've been given the opportunity to serve. Shaugat, when I finished my career in policing, I knew that I was not finished in the service to Canadians and to service to my community. And so I've been very fortunate that the people of Scarborough Southwest have given me that opportunity, and I'm asking for the chance to continue to do it. There's an election going on, and I hope that the people of Scarborough Southwest will give me an opportunity to continue to serve. I've always done my very best to serve the people of my city, my community, and my country, and I want to continue to do so.
And when you look at the election campaign, it seems the election campaign for the Liberal Party is not plain and simple this time. Your party is facing obstacles, protests in different places. It seems like we are witnessing a new Canada, which we never have seen or don't want to see. From your long political and administrative experience, what do you think is behind this situation? Do you think Liberal will overcome all obstacles and reach their dream destination?
Well, we've seen some political leaders like Mr. O'Toole, who has said to his supporters that he wants to take back Canada. Well, it begs the question, who does he want to take it back from? Does he want to take it back from all of the immigrants and newcomers that have come to this country? Does he want to take it back from all of the new communities that are making Canada such a vibrant place? And he appeals to the intolerant and those who do not want a welcoming and inclusive country. Even just yesterday, Mr. O'Toole went to the border and talked about, the immigrants coming to this country seeking asylum, and he did that to anger people and to make them afraid. I think it is the responsibility of real leaders in this country, like Justin Trudeau, like myself, to stand up against that tolerance, to say no, that these are not Canadian values. This is not what we stand for. We are a welcoming and compassionate country. This country has been built by immigrants. Its future will be based on the work of all of the people that choose from all over the world to come and make Canada a better home. We see that right here in Scarborough Southwest, where people have come from Bangladesh and they've come to Canada. They love their mother country. They love their community. They practice their faith. They're proud of their culture and their traditions. And they've come here to Canada to make a better life. And there is not just a place in Canada, but Canada needs them. Canada needs them for our future. And so we need to make sure that we elect politicians and leaders who don't appeal to the worst in us, but the best in us, who recognize the importance of our diversity and make sure that everyone is treated with respect. One of the reasons I became a liberal, and one of the reasons so many people in Scarborough Southwest are liberals, Shaugat, is because we don't believe that this country is only for the wealthy and the privileged. We believe this country is for everyone. And when someone makes the choice to come to Canada, to be a Canadian, and to help build this country, then they need to be treated with respect and support. And that's what a liberal government, those are liberal values. That's why I'm a liberal, and I believe it's why most of the people in our community also believe in liberal values. And this is a challenging election, because I think, we're starting to see people who are racist, people who are intolerant, people who are hateful, people who are afraid, beginning to protest. Let me also acknowledge, we've just come through a very difficult pandemic that has caused a lot of tension within our communities. And, people have struggled during the pandemic. Throughout that pandemic, the Liberal government and Justin Trudeau have tried very hard to be there for Canadians. We were there with financial supports. We've been there with vaccines. We've been there to help people every single day. But we also know that that has caused some resentment and anxiety within other parts of our community. But we always have to stand up for what's right. And when we see acts of intolerance, like the vandalism that took place at the mosque a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's near my home.
I know. And as a community, we need to stand up and say, no, that is wrong. And we don't accept that. And as a government, we also have to be there for the mosque and for the community. And that's why, for example, months ago, I went to that mosque, and we've arranged, and the government will provide $85,000 to help them build new fences, put in new monitors, because everyone should feel safe and secure in the practice of their faith, and everyone should be respected in our country. I've heard from Muslim families right here in Scarborough Southwest that their young women are afraid to go out if they are wearing the hijab, where their families and children are concerned that they may be targeted for intolerance because of their faith. That is completely unacceptable to us. And frankly, only Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party is really prepared to stand up for all Canadians, in particular, to stand against Islamophobia.
Sure. And you are in charge of the safety of the people of this country. We know for the last few years, gun violence has become a worrisome issue for the communities. People started feeling unsafe on the roads. Why Liberal government could not stop or control the use of illegal arms and gun violence?
Yes, for 45 years as a police officer, I dealt with the issue of gun violence in my city. It's one of the reasons I went to Ottawa, because we need to strengthen our gun laws. We need to make sure that guns don't end up in the hands of criminals. And so I've introduced legislation, first of all, that will strengthen our gun laws to keep guns out of the hands of criminals and to keep them from being smuggled in from the United States. We also know that there are some guns that are simply so dangerous that no one should have them. The guns that were used to kill Muslim worshippers in Christchurch and in the Quebec City Mosque, that have been used to kill women students at our universities and other people, that are used in mass shootings every single day. And so we banned those guns because it's the right thing to do for Canadians. These guns don't belong here. But Mr. O'Toole and the Conservatives, they made a deal with the gun lobby. They made a deal with the gun manufacturers. You know, there's an organization in the United States called the National Rifle Association that has completely corrupted American politics. And that's why the Americans have such trouble with gun violence in their country. They endorsed Mr. O'Toole yesterday because Mr. O'Toole's promised to bring American gun laws to Canada. That we don't, the government of Canada should not work for the gun manufacturers. They should work for Canadians.
Sure.
And when we also know, like I know as a police officer, we need to make sure that the police have the tools they need and the resources they need. And so when our government, when Justin Trudeau gave money to the police to do their work, Aaron O'Toole voted against it. When we've tried to invest in communities to help young people make better choices, to help families, to help all the community organizations that do such great work in helping our children make better choices and help keep our community safe, again, the Conservatives voted against that. They only support the gun manufacturers. They don't support Canadians. And it's one of the reasons after I finished my career as a police chief, I went to Ottawa as a Liberal member of Parliament, because the safety of Canadians is my first priority. And that's my responsibility as the Minister for Public Safety. You know, the police chiefs across the country have urged us to ban these weapons. Doctors who treat trauma patients and people who might be suicidal have urged us to strengthen our gun laws and ban these weapons. And the victims of gun crimes, families who have lost loved ones, communities that have been traumatized by gun violence have urged us to strengthen gun control. And we are listening to them. We're listening to the police, to the doctors, and to victims. We're listening to families. And the Conservatives, they're listening to the gun manufacturers who profit in the billions from the sale of these deadly weapons.
People of the Scarborough Southwest riding elected you as their representative. If I ask you, if I want to hear from you, what you have done for them, what special have you done for the Bangladeshi community in Canada during your time in the public office? And what do you want to do for them if re-elected?
Thank you, Shaugat. And this is a very important question for the community. You know, when I first came to Scarborough Southwest, the very first people I met with were the Bangladeshi community. And I went to the mosques. I went to the community organizations. I sat and listened to the people. They talked about the type of Canada that they wanted. They talked about the struggles with their families. One of the very first things we did was introduce the Canada Child Benefit that has lifted literally thousands of Bangladeshi Canadian families in Scarborough Southwest out of poverty, because we provided them with the money they needed to help raise their families and to be secure in their homes and in their lives. We also have recognized the importance of, you may recall that under Mr. Harper and the Conservative government, they passed laws that made Bangladeshi Canadians second-class citizens. They could take away their citizenship. And we changed that law immediately, because in Canada, as Justin Trudeau has said, a Canadian is a Canadian. And all Canadians need to be treated equally and fairly. And so we overturned that Conservative policy. We've also been listening very carefully to Bangladeshi families about the affordability of things. And so we're helping them with their housing, with being able to start a business, to make a living. We've improved all of the supports for that the Bangladeshi community has asked for. We've listened very carefully when they talk about immigration, to obtain visas for their families so that there can be reunification and so that they can see their loved ones. And we've worked very hard, and we've brought brand new and very ambitious targets. You know, Canada actually accepts more refugees than any country in the world. And we are targeting to have over 400,000 new Canadians, new immigrants come to this country. We've also placed a great deal of emphasis, and I've heard from the Bangladeshi community about the importance of student visas. You know, it's very easy right now for students, international students, to come from India, from Pakistan, or from China. But we've got some work to do to make sure that families and students in Bangladesh have the same opportunities to come to Canada. And I've already reached out to the Bangladeshi government to begin those discussions to make sure that we can make some progress in that area. You know, and finally, as well, I've heard very clearly from the Bangladeshi community. You know, it's a great community in this country, and all they want is the opportunity to succeed, to grow and to prosper. And so we've made sure that we've invested in small business, we've invested in families and communities, and we've done everything we can to help them. And so many, when they first come, Shaugat, they live in housing such as on Teesdale, or Gordon Ridge, or even over in Crescent Town. And we know that many of those houses have not been maintained properly. And so and actually Justin Trudeau came with me, and we went to Mayor Tory, and we gave him over $1 billion to fix those buildings, to make them more livable for the people that newcomers, many Bangladeshi families who live in those buildings. And so we have always tried our best to support it. And I also want to share with you, Shaugat, there are 3 ridings in Canada that have strong Bangladeshi communities. BC York, which is represented by my friend Nathaniel Erskine-Smith, Scarborough Southwest, my riding, and the 3rd riding with a large Bangladeshi population is Papineau, where Justin Trudeau works. And so I will tell you that Justin Trudeau, Nathaniel, and I talk often about how we serve the Bangladeshi community. As a matter of fact, when he made me a minister of his government, I told Justin Trudeau that I felt like I was the first Bangladeshi minister in the Canadian government, because I represent a Bangladeshi community. I serve a Bangladeshi community in Scarborough Southwest. And the Prime Minister reminded me that he is also a Prime Minister that serves a Bangladeshi community in Papineau, and he does so with pride. And so I want to assure my friends in the Bangladeshi community in Scarborough Southwest, the Liberal Party and the Government of Canada, Justin Trudeau and I, both understand how important this community is. We listen carefully to the concerns and sometimes the struggles of this community, and we celebrate in their success. And we have seen, Bangladeshi businesses start up. We've seen celebrations of culture. We've learned lessons from Bangladeshi history. We all recognize the importance of Mother Language Day. We all recognize what that means, not just to the Bangladeshi people, but to people all around the world. And we are, I think, a country and a government that understands and supports the Bangladeshi community. And we're very grateful for the support that we receive from them.
And finally, before we conclude, what is the message do you want to give to your constituents, especially to the Bangladeshi Canadian living in your riding?
Now, I would begin by saying thank you. First of all, I'm very grateful that the friendships that I have made and this very warm support that I have received, when I go to the community and when I go to people's homes, when I go to the mosques or when I go to a community event, I am always received with very great warmth and great friendship. And I'm grateful for that. And I thank them all for that. I also am very grateful that I've been given the opportunity to serve this community, to serve all the people of Canada. But my first job is to serve the people of Scarborough Southwest, including all of the people who live here from the Bangladeshi community. I am grateful for the opportunities that I've been given to serve that community, and I very humbly ask for the opportunity to continue to serve. Shaugat, this is a very important election. Canadians get to decide their future. That's what this election really is about. Whether we're going to have a government that supports families, that supports, make sure that we're taking care of our children, that is prepared to take strong and bold action that's necessary on climate change, that's going to make the investments in our infrastructure in Scarborough and across the country to help rebuild our economy, to build back better. And whether or not we're going to have a government that really embraces the incredible diversity of this country, that ensures that we have a government that respects the values of all people and works hard for all people, not just the wealthy, not just the privileged, but for everyone, so that we can all be successful. And so that's the choice. That's the choice that the people of Canada have. It's the choice the people in Scarborough Southwest have. It's the choice of the Bangladeshi Canadian community in our riding. They have to choose the future of Canada, and only they can choose. And I'm very hopeful that they will choose the type of Canada that I believe in.
And we also hope people will listen to you and people will make their informed decision based on the scenario, what is happening now and what type of Canada we want to see actually.
Yes, no, I think it really is. I think we have a very good platform. I think our platform is the right platform, but more importantly, I think the Liberal Party values are the right values for Canada, and the right values for Scarborough Southwest, the right value for Bangladeshi Canadians in Canada. That's why so many of the people that I know in my community believe they say that they are liberals because they believe in liberal values, and so do I. And I think together, the only way we can build a great country is together. And I believe a liberal government is the government that will bring us together, not tear us apart.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Bill, thank you for sharing your valuable thoughts with Bangladeshi audience. We really appreciate your feelings and cordiality to our people. Thank you once again. Viewers, we have been talking to Mr. Bill Blair. He is serving as Public Safety Minister and now candidate for Scarborough South West riding. We are discussing challenges and opportunities for him as well as for the Liberal Party in the upcoming election. Thank you, Mr. Bill. My gratitude to you all who will be watching this video later. Keep safe. Mark your calendar for 20th September to cast your vote. Don't forget to go to voting center and don't forget to cast your vote. Thank you so much, you all, and thank you, Bill Blair, once again.
Shaugat, thank you very much. Donabat.